One of the things we started doing probably 10, 12 years ago was watering certain plots. Water's important for our plots. It's also important on any given hunt. We're gonna do a little watering, check some scrape trees.
We're gonna grow some green fields, give you guys, hopefully kill some big ones. We'll see what happens.
Brian and Cody head out to Wyoming, and they're the first ones on the Drury Outdoors team to strike.
What a way to get our season started. Full velvet, giant Wyoming 5x5. God bless.
So here we are, seasons are opening all across the country, and we're already at episode 15 of deer season 23. This is First Blood. Before it's over with, you're gonna see Brian and Cody head out to Wyoming, and they're the first ones on the Drury Outdoors team to strike. But before we get to that hunt, First Blood of the season, we're gonna get an update. Terry's farm, Matt's leases and farm, and of course here in Iowa and Missouri. We're gonna do a little watering, check some scrape trees, check some food plots, and before it's all over with, kill the first deer of the season. Here we go, deer season 23 truly has started.
All right, well, we're out here and it is super hot out today. I mean, the last couple of days have been up in the 90s. And as you can see, the pond behind me, if you've been keeping up with us in deer season 23 in the off season here, you know we dug this thing in the beginning of July. Super, super dry. And then all of a sudden we got some really big rains. We had a big 7-incher a couple weeks ago. And it went from about 8 inches in here to 8 feet. And we're in here. And this is the reason we built this pond, is to water food plots. So got our pump here, we're gonna get the tank full on it. We got hose, we stretched down the hill to the food plot there, got a fire hose on the end to spray it out on the food plot. So gonna get our pump fired up and we're gonna start using this water. I mean, it worked out absolutely perfect. Usually you don't want a big rain like that, but this year it worked out pretty good. Got the pond full, and we're gonna start utilizing that water, keep that food plot growing, and hopefully we'll have a nice green food plot there during deer season.
What we got going on? Well, just a little bit of summer watering. We got a 100-degree week here, and we thought we ought to add a rain. We have no rain in the forecast, as far as I know, for days, but we got a lot of hundreds.
Well, as you can see, it's not it doesn't have the most pressure behind it, but with these temperatures, any water is better than no water. And as Chad said, if it ain't gonna rain, we're gonna make it rain. That's what we're doing. Hopefully that biologic loves it. We'll see, but I can't imagine it won't. This is gonna be a pretty sweet spot.
All right, we have what I would say are final preparations leading into the season. So here it is, it's August the 28th, and we're sitting next to a biologic non-typical clover field that we also drilled last bite into. It's looking really good. We mowed it for the first time, and since then we did get a couple rains. We've had really high heat, but the clover really bloomed after that, after we mowed it. So it's looking good. Now what we're doing today, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna lift our hawk blinds on these Keen trailers, but we're also trying something new. Instead of our traditional treacoys where we cut down a shingle oak, we're gonna put this in the ground, and we actually got these flagpole holders, metal flagpole holders, that we're gonna drill onto them and put a branch from there. We got 2 of these we're gonna put out, one on this field and then one on our south field. We also got to put another hawk blind up on our south field and raise it. Got a few things left to do to get prepared, but we're getting closer and closer. What we came and did, we popped up this hawk office blind on the Keen trailer, but we actually added one of our new scrape trees, one of these posts that we added the flagpole holder, and we put the oak there on a limb right there. We took the weed eater, weeded it out, and put some branch butter on the branch there to hopefully convince some deer to start using it. We actually got a reconics camera over here as well, facing it, so if there is any action in the area, we'll see it pretty quickly. This will be the last time we come up here till we hunt it. So everything's set, blinds in position, and good to go. Deer season 23 rolls on.
Well, here we are, September 1st. Mother Nature is not playing our game. She's up here in Iowa, at least it's been really dry. And so we got the water rig out. Probably my least favorite thing to do, but we got to grow fields, we got to kill deer. So what we're doing is trying to put roughly a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain on a plot, if you will. It takes 27,000 gallons of water to put 1 inch of rain on 1 acre. So if you break that down and do the math, you can tell that we're gonna be putting a lot of gallons of water down this week. So that's what I'm here in Iowa doing. Luckily our Missouri farms got some rains and we had gotten those in a little bit earlier, so they look okay. So hopefully we don't have to go down there and do any watering, but I'm up here in Iowa watering. Wade is in Alberta mule deer hunting. So check that out on the next episode. And we're gonna get to it here and hopefully grow some mossy oak biologic green fields. Maybe get my feet wet. Maybe spray Darren with some water. You just never know what's gonna happen. Well, we got that pump running and filling up that water tank. And I think a lot of people are a little intimidated. You know, it's not raining across the Midwest in a lot of different places, and people are like, well, I don't have the time. Maybe it's a time crunch. Maybe it's a money thing. You know, I know there's places out there you can rent 500 gallon tanks already on trailers, and, you know, find you a trash pump to rent too. They're not hard to get a hold of. I know some buddies that have done it and rented them and, you know, watered a few plots. So if you're like, okay, what do I do? There's no rain in the forecast. You know, we're looking at no rain up here for the next 10 days. So that's 10 days of me and Darren and whoever else can help water. So if you're looking at that forecast and you're going, what can I do? I think call some rental places around. See if you got a buddy who's got a tank. We're gonna grow some green fields, give you guys hopefully some deer and some green fields on deer season 23. And hopefully kill some big ones. We'll see what happens, but we're out here September 1st. It's dove opener. Maybe you're dove hunting. Good luck.
You know, when it comes down to trying to do everything you can for the animal and preparation for the season, one of the things we started doing probably 10, 12 years ago was watering certain plots. And if you look at it and you go, well, that wouldn't be hard. Get a little tank, go out there and put some water on them. But in reality, it takes a lot of water to do a little bit for that plant. A 1 inch rain across 1 acre is 27,000 gallons. So then you look at your plot. Are you trying to germinate that plot? In other words, the seeds are in the ground and they're not up yet. If that's the case, I'm gonna try and hit that 27,000 gallons on an acre. However, this year, our situation, we're in a drought now, but when we planted, we had a great seed bed and we had a great germinating rain of about an inch, inch and a quarter. All of the plants germinated. That biologic looked great, but then the stand just kind of stalled. And in fact, some of those plants started to stress, they started to get a little yellow and they weren't really growing. So now it's about not trying to germinate it, but just keep them alive, waiting for that next rain. So if you look at a normal size food plot, call it a 1/2 acre kill plot, those are the ones we're trying to keep alive and actually get some growth out of. So if you take that 27,000 gallons across an acre and you cut it into a 1/2 acre and you say, well, if I water early in the morning or late at night when it's gonna do the most good, I could probably get by with 3 to 4 tenths on this 1/2 acre. So you're talking about 4 to 6,000 gallons, which is a little bit more manageable. Ourselves, we run a 1,650 gallon tank. We're filling out of ponds that are close by. So those are our choices when they come down to it. Number one, which plots are the most important to us? Number two, is there water close by to where we can feasibly do it? If the answer to those is no, we don't have a good deer, or it's hard to do, we just let it go. We might have to replant in some of these plots because they're really not making it. So we're really trying to help 5 or 6 key plots. So it seems like we're doing a lot, but in reality, we're just honing in on what we can effectively do. Water is important for our plots. It's also important on any given hunt, not just the water in the now, but also what have you had up until this point. That's exactly what Brian and Cody are facing out there in Wyoming. But if I know those two guys, they're gonna get it done. First blood, here we go.
All right, well, good morning. It is the day before opening day, where Cody and I are getting ready to head out west to Wyoming, and it is early the morning before because we want to scout tonight. And so we're trying to get the pickup packed. You know, this is kind of a do-it-yourself hunt, so we have to bring stands, sticks. We have several muddy lock-ons, ground blinds, chairs, you name it, because we're going to be scouting, moving stands in and hunting. And so we've done this, we've hunted here a couple of times already, so that's nice. But in order to scout tonight, we got to have an early morning today. The morning before opening day, Cody and I are leaving really early this morning so that we can scout tonight. We have a long drive and we want to get out in plenty of time to scout. So we got packed up and we're leaving before dawn. Pulled up. Feels good to be back in the saddle here at Rolling Bones in Wyoming. Doesn't it, Cody? Whew. Good evening for scouting here in Wyoming. It is the day before opening day, and Cody and I know that this year we have to scout harder. This area has had a ton of rain, and it had a really hard winter, which means that there's some winter die-off, and now there's green everywhere. And so there's fewer deer, and they're more spread out than they're normally. And so I think on this particular trip, scouting will be the name of the game. Nice ones, Cody. So 2 bucks came out of one draw, and then another buck that we would shoot came out of this bottom draw. With the wind, I think, well, and there's more deer, I think that the second draw would be our better bet. Plus it's closer to water, it's gonna be hotter tomorrow. They're nice. The 5x5. Yeah, that's the one with the big brows. The 5x5 with the big brows. Opening day morning here. We are scouting instead of hunting. We got 2 sets of bucks. Each have shooters in them. One's kind of off the right, heading over a hill. There's a pond back in the trees. And the others are actually kind of what Cody and I predicted. They're taking the high elevation way back to the bed. Both of which tonight, if they drink water and then take the low way out to the fields, they're gonna walk right by our stand. I don't think we could have had a better morning. Gotta shoot a little bit. Make sure everything's dialed in, nothing moved over the trip, so we're gonna grab a few arrows and still got some practice tips in the field, so we're gonna do a little shoot. Boom, that was a good shot.
This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by the incredibly durable Morel shooting target. With many designs available, you're sure to find a target that fits your practicing style.
Okay, so we're on DeerCast.com here and trying to give you guys a picture of what our game plan is, and we've tried to map it out pretty well here. These are kind of the sorghum sedan grass fields. Last night we were up there. You can see that DeerCast icon. That's where we are scouting from. There's several deer in the area, all of which we're hunting. And so last night we noticed a big 4x4 coming out of this draw. Now this morning, you'll see this red icon. That's actually, we saw him coming back, and he was coming up over the hill we saw this morning. We think coming to that pond. We also saw on the high side up on this bench, see these 2 red deer icons. That's where we saw some deer, some big bucks actually coming back to bed. And if you notice the purple there, that's where our tree stand is, the purple tree stand icon. We think the deer are kind of bedding up here in the trees. That's our purple tree stand icon, and there's a pond right there. And today's supposed to be a little bit warmer than yesterday. So what we think is going to happen is wherever these deer are bedded, we think they're going to come down to the water, drink, and then we're hoping that they walk the bottom out to the food. And yesterday we noticed one of the big bucks took this draw. However, we noticed a couple of other big bucks, they came out of the field right there. We have a predominantly southern wind, and so we think they're going to come below us and come out to this field. And so with this south wind and our dropping thermals, we actually think the deer are going to take the bottom side as they go out to bed tonight. We'll see what happens. Fingers are crossed. It's deer season 23, opening day in Wyoming for us. Let's do this. Let's go. It is time to kick off deer season 23. The long wait is over. It is September 1. Cody and I are in Wyoming. We scouted last night. We scouted this morning. We got our eyes on several bucks going back to bed. We're hunting halfway close to a water source on their way to food. We got a muddy we're gonna hang and hunt tonight here for the cameraman stand, but we're scent locked, ready to rock. It's day one. Let's do this. Opening day, deer season 23 here in Wyoming. We have had super good luck here. This is kind of a do-it-yourself ranch that Rolling Bones hooked me up with. And essentially we come, we scout, we try to get on the deer. And it really helps this year being familiar with this property, because it's the hardest year to hunt this property because of all the rain. The bucks are dispersed. But we scouted last night, we scouted this morning. This is where we need to be. Now all we need is something to cooperate, so let's do this. Good framed buck, so it's a great start for deer season 23.
Deer, buck. Okay. Fence line to the north. Down the fence line.
Can I look? Can I turn?
He's feeding.
Big 5x5. Big 5x5 coming.
He's coming down. There's one light up there.
Right.
Yes, that's a 5x5, man. Dude, deer season 23. My elbow hit you a little bit on the maybe it jerked a little bit. I could have looked like a hard shot to me. Yes, baby, just a touch forward. That's a big 5x5, the biggest deer we have on. Rolling Bones, Wyoming, deer season 23, night number 1. We're tagged out, baby. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, this was intense, man.
It's intense. And what time is it? It's 6:30.
It's 6:30. This was hard. This was hard. The sun is just so hot. And he didn't come quite down in the gullet, but he presented me with a little over a 30-yard shot. Hopefully
Right.
I saw blood. I mean, I saw a lot of blood. That's exactly what scouting does. We came here knowing that this was going to be a hard hunt. Turns out we tagged out on opening day, but we spent more time and more thought scouting because we knew that these deer weren't going to be funneling anywhere specifically. We scouted last night. We saw kind of what we did. We saw where they came this morning. We looked at the lay of the land. We have the pond back there. We have this in the tree funnel where thermals are dropping. Therefore, we felt they were going to be down on the bottom, not on top like they were this morning. And man, that panned out perfectly. That's a big deer. Yeah, he's perfect broadside shot. So my shot was forward a little bit. Looked like the same shot I had on the deer 2 years ago here. So let's check the footage out. Praise the Lord, baby. Praise the Lord, tagged out. Whew. We probably actually hit the arteries and stuff right in front of the heart. There's a chance we nicked the heart, I think. Got blood. You see the blood right in front too. There's blood right there. Is that a white belly right there? That's you saw him. How long have you seen it?
I see the way back there.
Okay. Boom. Hey, nice. Thank you, DeerCast track. Yes. I love Wyoming. Thanks for rolling balls. God bless you. Nothing better than early season bow hunting in Wyoming. This doesn't get old. This doesn't get old. This is awesome. Thanks, Cody. Guys, a happy ending to a blood trail here in Wyoming, Rolling Bones. Day 1 of deer season 23. We're already on the board yet again. We love this hunt. We did not draw a tag for this area last year, but 2 years ago at this exact same location, not exact same, but same farm, essentially, we probably had the best deer hunt of my life. Great water tank, great footage on deer season 21. Now 2 years later, we do it yet again for deer season 23. What a way to get our season started. Full velvet, giant Wyoming 5x5. God bless.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by DeerCast, the most advanced deer movement predictor ever.